Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're going to be talking about the spell Ray of Sickness. Yeah. All right. I can already tell you're not a fan, but let's go ahead.
I think my expression gives it away a lot of the time. There'll be spells where I'm like eager and excited about. The other spells I'm like.
But before we get into that, what does the spell do, Sam?
Okay, it's short and sweet. It's a 60-foot ranged one-action attack spell. You shoot a ray of sickening energy at something by making a ranged spell attack against it. If you hit it, it takes 2d8 poison damage. If you hit it, it makes a Constitution saving throw, and if it fails that save, it's poisoned until the start of your next turn. If you upcast it, it gets an extra d8 damage for every spell level beyond first. So second is 3d8, third is 4d8, etc., etc., etc.
All right. Before we go any further, what does the poison condition do?
All right. The poison condition basically says you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. That is all.
That's something.
It is not nothing, but it is like a important element whenever understanding like how good is the spell, how good can it be, that kind of stuff. If it also granted advantage on attack rolls against the creature, I'd be a lot more about it. It doesn't. It's only really defensive. The poison condition largely just like hampers things. It doesn't help you kill them. But it's still not nothing. It's still a decent enough condition, I think.
It feels like it would be a really good cantrip.
I agree. If this did like a d8 less damage and poisoned, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is a cantrip you should take. As a first level spell.
That's got a cost.
Yeah. And the cost comes at like, when would you want to cast this, right? I think the main cost to it.
It's a damaging spell, so we have to compare it to Magic Missile.
That's an easy first one. Magic Missile is always doing 3d4 plus 3, and it's not ever missing. This is only ever doing 2d8 damage. It can miss.
How does 3d? Wait, what is it? 3d4 plus 1?
3d4 plus 3, because each one missile does an extra 1, right?
How does that compare to 2d8?
All right, 2d8 is roughly 9 damage on average. 3d4 plus 3 is 5, 6, or it's 7.5, 10.5 damage. So out the gate, damage wise, Magic Missiles never misses and always doing more on average damage at around 10.5, where this is averaging 9.
So the only reason you want this at all is for the poison bonus, the poison condition possibility, which only happens if you hit and if they fail their saving throw.
Yeah, which is rough on a whole lot of fronts. Ray of Sickness being an attack roll means it's going to be better against creatures that typically have a lower dexterity, and creatures with lower dexterity tend to have higher constitution whenever we're looking at like what defensive monsters have. You'll see like hill giants have relatively easy to hit AC, but have a giant bucket of hit points. You'll see the same thing with oozes. They're easy to hit, large amount of hit points. Things that are harder to hit, like the squirrely goblins and kobolds and stuff like that have a higher AC because they have a higher dex mod, typically have a crappier con. So if you are fighting a creature with a high con, you probably are going to be able to hit it, but you aren't that likely to get it to fail the con save as well. If you are going to fight against something that is easy to like poison, you're less likely to hit it, which lets you in this odd situation where this isn't really amazing against many creatures that have both a low dex and a low con. Frankly, if you're against something with a low dex and a low con, you probably should just be like plowing damage into it as fast as you can, because it'll die relatively easily in that way. And it leads to being like, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of encounters where you're gonna be able to comfortably say I'm likely to both hit and get the poisoned condition. And if that isn't happening, there's no reason to cast this. Chromatic Orb, you can do poison damage with it and just does an extra d8 damage. So if you like, I don't know if the poison condition, the chance of having the poison condition even is worth a d8 damage. I don't think it is, and I'm not big on Chromatic Orb either. So,
all right, I'm picturing you're going against a big bad. This fight's going to take a while. He's going to make a lot of attacks, and so you're just blasting him with Ray of Sickness over and over again, trying to get some of his attacks to miss.
It costs you a lot. I mean, so you have to ask yourself a couple questions. The first question you have to ask yourself is, if I want to poison him, if the goal is to give him disadvantage on attack rolls, right? Do I have better ways at this tier to have a longer lasting effect that gives disadvantage on the attack rolls? And the answer is
yes.
Well,
how long? This one doesn't last for, this only lasts
till the start of your next turn.
Oh, yeah, that's
Bad.
oh man. Ray of Sickness, you're making it hard for me to love you.
Yeah. Like you could drop a giant cloud of poisonous gas and perpetually poison something for a long period of time, and then also lay into it with other things, right? If you want the condition of poisoned, there are better higher level effects to get it. If you are using this in the low levels of play, there are more impactful first level spells to be using. Even if you're at the upper tiers of play and you're like, all right, I don't mind burning my first level and second level spells and some Ray of Sicknesses, by that time your cantrips are out damaging this, right? Because your cantrips scale with your total level. So your firebolts are doing 2d10 and 3d10 damage relatively easily. If you're looking for poison damage, poison spray is doing 3d12 damage. Like out the gate, poison spray as a cantrip, sure, it's got a lot shorter range. It doesn't come with the fun little poison condition, but it's only 2 or 3 damage less on average than this. Ooh.
The only reason I think to use this is because you want the poison damage or the poison condition. So, which I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of times you'll want to use this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying is you're not going to be substituting one of these cantrips in place of this.
Agreed.
Be doing something else.
I think that you'll find like almost anytime you're going to cast Ray of Sickness, you're just going to want an effect that does either half of this thing better. And there are a multitude of those. I don't think
The damage
half or the conditional half, right? Like even something like sleep, being able to just knock something out, that prevents it from making attack rolls out the gate, right? Things that remove its ability to attack, commanding it to drop its weapon and then having someone pick that weapon up, disarming a creature is going to be way more better at reducing incoming damage and debilitating its attack rolls than necessarily Ray of Sickness is going to be. There are also, notably, a whole lot of monsters that are immune to the poison condition and are resistant to poison damage. Like it is one of the most resisted against effects in the entire game. So you going in with the expectation of it always working is kind of iffy at best. Like the majority of undead are going to have no problem with just having immune to poison condition. You going against some zombies, tough. This doesn't have any other text outside the 2d8 damage. So you're really like, the window of creatures is smaller than it needs to be. The effect is really narrow as to what creatures you would want to use it against. I'm not seeing it. I don't think that this has like if you want a spell sheet that has a diverse array of options to handle circumstances, this is just too narrow to justify. I think basically ever.
Well, I'm not going to say ever. In fact, I'm going to give this 1 star higher than yours as per usual, because I think there will be not many, but some circumstances where, I don't know, let's say you've already spent your higher level slots. You don't want to get too close to this big thing, but you do have like a multitude of first level spells available. So
then you just hope the really big, thick thing doesn't fail a Constitution saving throw after you hit it, or doesn't pass a Constitution saving throw after you hit it.
Times saying the shotgun approach. You blast it enough, one of these is going to land
over a long period of rounds, I guess. I don't know. I feel like you're probably going to die, and we'd rather just be like expedition retreating at that point, right? Like, let's just leave instead. I'll just feather fall and jump off the side of this cliff instead of trying to fight the thing that we're very clearly going to get murdered by if I'm desperately throwing Ray of Sickness at it as a last resort, right?
Yeah. But all right. Go ahead and give it your 1 star.
Yeah. This feels awful.
I'll give it a
Garbage.
2. All right. I guess that's it. That was Ray of Sickness, everyone. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.